Welcome back. Now we're going to send it over to Kelsie Metzgar, standing by at the news desk with national news. Kelsie?
Thanks, Brittany. The Supreme Court upheld a case against affirmative action Tuesday. Universities in Michigan will now ban racial preferences in their decision for admitting students. Other states that have already had similar bans in place include Arizona, California, Florida, New Hampshire, Oklahoma, and Washington. A lawmaker says the South Korean ferry that sank last week was carrying more than 3 times its recommended cargo. It was loaded with more than 3,600 tons of cargo when it left the port, which is more than double the weight of the ship itself. Currently, 156 people are confirmed dead, but officials say there are likely more than 300 people dead. Prosecutors are investigating whether the ship's operating company, Chunghae Jin Marine, bribed government inspectors to give the vessel a clean safety certificate. The firm has not commented on the allegations. Some are calling it the Guns Everywhere law, and it's either seen as progressive or terrifying. Georgia's governor signed the new law to allow firearms in bars, libraries, churches, and some government buildings beginning July 1st. Schools would also be allowed allow employees to carry firearms under certain conditions. The law does allow businesses, churches, and schools the right to prohibit guns with a sign or a notice. And that's all I have for national news this week. Now back to Brittany and Ryan.
Thanks, Kelsie. Turning some attention now to man's best friend. According to the Humane Society, more than half of American households have at least one pet.
One important decision that those pet owners have to make is what to feed that special family member. Daybreak correspondent Chris Hoffman introduces us to a local woman who started making her dog's food, and the ingredients are going to sound rather familiar.
Dog food is something you just go to the store and buy, but one local resident feeds Avon here the same types of food you and I would eat for dinner. Heidelberg resident Bernadette Kazar was introduced to the new way of feeding her dogs after Ruby, her late Cocker Spaniel, became ill.
Ruby had to be put on a liver diet, which was white fish, potatoes, and she was on that for 6 weeks. And the reason for that is we had to detox the liver.
This special diet was suggested by veterinarian and author of Dinner Possible, Dr. Kathy Alanovi, who's based in the state of Indiana. She explains why people food is just as good for dogs.
So anybody who's under 50 years old thinks, ooh, it's not safe. They never stop and think, why is chicken and green beans not healthy for our dogs? Why is the chicken not healthy for our cats? Our cats are pure carnivores. Chicken should be healthy.
Kazar is currently making the dog food right out of her own home.
Basic, good stuff, things that we should be eating.
Basic it is, with dishes like beef and veggies, meatloaf, chicken, shrimp and veggies, and turkey and salmon hash. Kazar uses vegetables right out of her own garden as ingredients too.
How is it, Chris?
Yum yum.
It's amazing what this, homemade food is doing for them. It's all natural. It's just wonderful.
Not only is Kazar making the dog food for her own dogs, she is working on creating a small business. So far, Kazar named her business Pawlicious. She obtained an LLC license, tax number, and then she had all of her food tested by an independent study lab.
I had to get all the food, which there was about 8 to 10 of them, and have them tested by the independent lab. So that was making them frozen and shipping them to New Jersey. And they tested for protein, carb, and moisture.
Kazar was then able to create a nutritional facts label to send to the Pennsylvania Department of Agriculture, which has been approved.
When you do this to the dogs and you see how they're eating it and you know you're giving it the best they are getting, it's really rewarding. It's very, very fulfilling.
Kazar hopes to see other dogs enjoy the same health benefits she's seen in her own. For Daybreak, I'm Chris Hoffman.
That dog food actually looked pretty good. I could go for some right now.
I know, that looks pretty doggone good.
Okay, coming up after the break, James and Courtney are going to be out on the plaza, and Johnny will have your weather.
And we're going to talk to the producer and some actors of a film that is doing some good to spread awareness for suicide.
Then later, Jillian Trainer is going to make us some yummy cookie cupcakes. You won't want to miss that.
We'll be right back.